This is absolutely hilarious. Am I the only person that thinks this is hilarious? I'm trying to. Is this the only time we've ever seen a situation like this happen, where a player has been suspended, not for a game, for a half? She's suspended for a half. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. She is suspended for a half a basketball game.
The Chicago Sky locker room has officially reached a breaking point, and Angel Reese has finally crossed a line that even her closest teammates can't ignore. What began as frustration over a disappointing season has spiraled into a full-blown meltdown, leaving the franchise with no choice but to take serious action against their supposed star player.
To the report, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Banham or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. Guard Ariel Atkins is another player on the Sky's roster with WNBA championship experience. Tyler Marsh said, "We are aware of it." What Angel Reese said, "We're addressing it in-house as currently speaking. That's where we'll stay right now."
The same player who once boldly compared herself to Caitlin Clark has now become a cautionary tale, a warning about what happens when ego outweighs teamwork and public statements destroy private bonds.
Tell Front Office Sports, the entire team has seen Reese's comments and they're basically unhappy with the direct attacks. They are even planning a team meeting to talk about it. We'll read you some of the excerpts, which does kind of not make her team look good. One of which say, "We can't rely on Courtney," that's Courtney Vandersloot, "to come back at the age that she's at. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone probably a little younger with some experience, somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it."
Reese's latest controversy isn't about points, rebounds, or stats. It's about character, leadership, and the basic respect teammates deserve. In a spectacular act of self-sabotage, she went public with criticisms so harmful that the organization felt forced to suspend her for making statements detrimental to the team. But the suspension was only the beginning of a larger organizational revolt, one that has left Reese's future in Chicago hanging by a thread.
Also, you guys remember the story. Angel Reese calling out her teammates, calling out the front office. You're a bum, you're a bum, you're a bum. You're a bum. Yeah, you ladies won't do it for me. Coach Marsh, can you please coach harder? Yeah, Angel Reese. 48 hours later, already backtracking on those statements, already moonwalking like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, he'd probably be proud how quickly Angel Reese is moonwalking from the comments she made, and I have an exclusive.
The breaking point came during a Chicago Tribune interview when Reese declared that the Sky needed great players and refused to settle for the roster they had this year. To some, this might sound like fire and competitiveness. To her teammates, it was a public betrayal, a declaration that none of them were good enough to share the court with her.
Stuff that she said was also pretty bad. I'm not settling for the same we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I am willing and wanting to play with the best, and however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm gonna do this offseason. So it's gonna be very, very important this offseason to make sure that we attract the best of the best, because we can't settle for what we have this year. So her saying we can't settle for what we have this year, that is basically like a slap in the face to Becca Allen. That is a slap in the face to Rachel Banham. That is a slap in the face to Ariel Atkins.
Veteran guard Rachel Banham, who has poured her heart into this franchise, felt blindsided by Reese's comments. Ariel Atkins, a longtime supporter of Reese, finally reached her limit, showing just how deep the locker room divide had grown.
Sky values safety, respect, and well-being of every player. We're committed to accountability so our players can stay focused on playing basketball. Because of statements made by Angel Reese during league-mandated media, I've never seen this before, where she is getting suspended for a half. Not a game. Not a game. One half. One half she is getting suspended for. That is absolutely hilarious.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. Reese's great players remark wasn't just a casual comment about roster construction. It was a direct attack on teammates who had fought through one of the toughest seasons in franchise history. She questioned whether Rachel Bannum or Hailey Van Lith were fit to lead a playoff team and dismissed 36-year-old Courtney Vandersloot, implying the team needed someone younger and more experienced. These weren't private discussions, they were public executions disguised as basketball analysis.
Be here for the rest of my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me. And listen, I totally get that, because if you are somebody with a lot of star power, you don't want your career just like rotting away in a place, especially the Sky. The GM, Jeff Pagliocca, he absolutely sold the Sky's future. He traded away draft picks for this like win now mentality. And who he drafted? Now, I don't want to speak bad about Hailey Van Lith, but she has not had a mentor to actually mentor her to be any proper type of point guard. So she's kind of been flying in the dark. She hasn't exactly proven her worth.
What makes Reese's actions especially damaging is how she delivered them. While Caitlin Clark, during her rookie season, faced criticism, hostile crowds, and tough physical play, she elevated everyone around her. Reese, in contrast, publicly tore down teammates who had supported her. The difference couldn't be starker. Clark built loyalty in adversity. Reese created division at the first sign of struggle.
This is the reason I have spent the last few years referring to the WNBA as a dump. This is the reason I don't feel bad when I refer to the WNBA as a toxic turd. Not only have they damn near ruined their opportunity with Caitlin Clark, the dump diver they chose to support, the pretend basketball player they have spent the last 2 years begging you to support. They desperately want her to be accepted. They are desperate to make her a star. Not only has she been rejected by normal people, Angel Reese is now being rejected and potentially kicked off of her own team.
The locker room reaction was swift and intense. Multiple sources confirmed that the Sky roster had seen Reese's comments and were upset. A players-only meeting was called, not to defend Reese, but to address the harm she had caused. Atkins, one of Reese's strongest allies, confronted her directly, making it clear her behavior was unacceptable. Bannum expressed the depth of hurt. "I think I just don't really care. If I was younger, it would have affected me more, but I'm grown, and I just don't care," she told the Chicago Sun-Times. Her words reflected betrayal, not basketball frustration. The realization that someone she had supported had publicly declared her inadequate.
Angel Reese, earlier in the week, in an interview, threw her Chicago Sky teammates under a bus and then ran the bus over them and then backed up the bus, bouncing over them again, and then proceeded to drive over them one more good time just to be sure that their carcasses were no longer twitching. It was one of the most me, selfish ass interviews I've ever heard from any athlete trashing her very own team.
Atkins, who had previously defended Reese, supported the organization's suspension decision. Ownership handled it how they see fit. "They have full support from our team," she said. She also revealed she hadn't contacted Reese since the meeting, signaling how alienated Reese had become, even from her strongest supporters. What initially appeared as a mild half-game suspension was just the visible tip of a much larger disciplinary process that could see Reese removed entirely. The Sky issued a statement emphasizing accountability and focus, signaling they would no longer tolerate off-court drama.
Suspended for a first half? What is this, college football? I've seen in college where people will get suspended for a half. Not in the pros. People getting suspended for a half game in the pros. Just suspend her for the whole game. Y'all don't have nothing to lose. Y'all don't have nothing to lose. If you're going to suspend her, just suspend her for another game. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Suspending her for a half is kind of weird. But yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Coach Tyler Marsh admitted the suspension came from top management. The fact that the front office disciplined their leading rebounder and supposed cornerstone star highlights the seriousness of the situation. When both coaching staff and management publicly rebuke you, it's a clear indicator your tenure is in jeopardy. Veteran Elizabeth Williams added, "Ree obviously doesn't want to disrespect us, but even she acknowledged that the comments represented a failure in leadership and communication." Reese's inability to control the narrative forced her teammates into damage control, a stark contrast to how other stars, like Clark, handle adversity. Clark builds respect and loyalty. Reese breeds resentment and division.
We don't have many players nowadays that know how to go through that building phase and know how to stick through in the hard times and come out, when it's sunny outside. Everybody just want to just hop to where it's already a finished product and then just add their little spin to it. Because hypothetically, let's say right now, yeah, she can go hop on Minnesota and win a ring, but is that fulfilling? Like, she can go hop on Las Vegas Aces right now and help them, get there. And if she win a ring with them, but is that fulfilling? Because now it's just like you just ring chasing, which everybody should want to win a ring. But it's like, come on, at what cost? Like winning a ring.
With the Sky already out of playoff contention at a 10-30 record, the team needed unity, not public finger-pointing. Yet Reese deflected responsibility for the team's struggles, even while leading the league in turnovers despite missing significant time. Instead of accountability, she cast herself as a victim of organizational incompetence. Veterans like Banham openly admitting they're over it underscores the toxic environment Reese's behavior has created. Professional athletes are now forced to navigate unnecessary drama because one teammate cannot handle adversity with maturity. The contrast with Clark couldn't be more obvious. Clark takes responsibility, praises her teammates, and builds culture. Reese throws everyone under the bus.
Care how great you are. I don't care how talented you are. If you're constantly causing problems, if you can't get along with your colleagues, there always comes a point when the bullshit outweighs the talent. Organizations will only tolerate so much. Everyone has a breaking point. You can't be a pain in the ass. You can't ostracize your teammates while being a huge embarrassing failure. You can't be a problem when you can't win a damn game.
The speed at which Reese's teammates turned against her speaks volumes. These were players who had defended her through previous controversies and built chemistry with her. That veterans like Atkins and Banham felt compelled to publicly express frustration shows the depth of trust Reese violated. Her attempts to apologize backfired as she deflected blame, claiming misinterpretation or context. Teammates weren't upset about nuance. They were upset because Reese publicly declared them inadequate while threatening to leave if the team didn't bring in better talent. This controversy has likely sealed her fate. A player who undermines team chemistry cannot remain in Chicago.
I don't think I'm frustrated. I probably am frustrated myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context. And I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year. They've busted their ass just how I busted my ass. They showed up for me through thick and thin and in the locker room when nobody could see anything. So I would apologize to my teammates, which I already have, about the article and how it was misconstrued, about what was said. And I just have to be better with my language because I know it's not the message, it's the messenger, and understanding what I say can be taken any kind of way. So I just have to really be better.
This is more than a basketball failure. It's a leadership and character failure. Clark, when facing adversity in her rookie year, elevated everyone around her. Reese, in contrast, tore down teammates while positioning herself as the solution to problems she helped create. The Sky's decision to discipline her sends a clear message. In professional sports, mutual respect and team chemistry are non-negotiable. There's no room for stars who publicly undermine teammates while shirking accountability. Reese crossed a line even a struggling organization cannot ignore.
The Chicago Bravado are realizing that Angel Reese is not worth the trouble. This is just the beginning. I think this is step one of the process, the first stage of divorce. I think the Chicago Bravado are preparing to trade the face of failure.
As the story unfolds, it's clear Angel Reese's time in Chicago is coming to an end, not for her on-court performance, but for her failure as a teammate and leader. Her public remarks didn't just criticize the organization, they destroyed trust and relationships essential for any team to function. With her own teammates backing the organization's actions, the lesson is obvious. Some lines cannot be crossed, regardless of talent or potential.